The intro audio has been screwed up for a while, and I finally fixed it.
Gorgeous, baby. You're gorgeous.
This is the Josh Podcast Show, the anti-podcast podcast on God and man. The show that everybody's talking about. The show that will become a necessary part of your weekly mental diet. The show that picks up where JoshRolfe.com leaves off. The show title that uses the word podcast 4 times. Introducing your host, Josh Rolfe.
That's me. That's me. So, yes, I'm whispering. This is another whispering episode. You have to go back several episodes to my last whispering episode, where I reveal why I whisper. Sometimes I have to whisper like this because I'm in a certain setting that requires that I whisper. And that's what I'm doing tonight. I am at a location that requires that I whisper. I am not in the Josh Podcast Show recording studio, which is my closet. I'm at a different location, and you have to go back to the whispering episode to find out where I am, because I go into great detail about why I whisper in certain locations. And that's the main reason I didn't record last night. I thought for sure I had a plan. I even have some audio. I did an interview a couple weeks ago that I thought I might edit, but I don't want to use the whole thing. I want to use just a portion of it, and editing takes some time. So I might do that tomorrow. But today is never too late to podcast. It is never too late to podcast. I want to give an opportunity here for some fans of this show. I like using the word fans. They would probably not call themselves fans of this show, but I'm going to call them fans tonight because I'm in that mood. I want people to feel good. I want myself to feel good. I want to feel good myself. So I got a text from Shantae, who is one of the last reviewers. He reviewed the show on iTunes back in May. So Shantae, thank you, sir, for your review. Well, I got a text. I assume he had just listened to the episode about the word pizzazz. And in that episode, I give a challenge, a pizzazz challenge, that as soon as you finish listening to the episode, you have to use the word pizzazz in a real life, face-to-face conversation, no matter what the setting. That was the challenge. Well, he must have listened to this on his run, because he said he got back from his run, and he has 4 daughters, and he said to them, "Wow, that guy has some pizzazz." And then he asked them who they thought he was talking about. This is their responses. One said Donald Trump. Another, the youngest, said he was talking about himself. Another said he was referring to a random hobo walking in the park. And the oldest child said he was talking about Michael Jackson. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. So nice work, Shantae. Thank you for taking up the pizzazz challenge and using it with your family. Didn't require a lot of courage to use it with your family. Like, no disrespect here. It would have been very different if you used it in your office or at the grocery store. But I'll accept this because you did it. And I think it was had a really good result, because I love that they said Michael Jackson, Donald Trump. They thought he was talking about himself. That's hilarious. Pizzazz is just this amazing word. Use it. Use it. Another one is on Stitcher. and I have to pull it up here on the computer. If I can find my own podcast. It is so hard and user unfriendly, this Stitcher site. The only reason I put myself on it at the beginning is because I thought it was like legit. A lot of people used it. Well, not many people use it. And anyway, if you go to, I have 2 reviews there? No. Oh, it's just 1 still. Shoot. People, will you write reviews? Oh, man. Okay, so if you click on the Pizzazz episode, it has, no, don't play. It has a comment from a John Rolfe. Now you'll know that my last name is Rolfe, Rolph, and John Rolfe is related to me. He is my youngest brother, my baby brother, now in his 30s, but still. So he also did the Pizzazz Challenge, and this was written back in August, but I love this too, so I'll read it. He said, I did the Pizzazz Challenge. I thought of a way to inject this magnanimous, he says. Forget it. Poor word choice on my part. So I thought of a way to inject this magnanimous term into a sub-awkward conversation with a coworker. Sub-awkward is a great way to describe any time you're forcing yourself to use the word pizzazz. I began the conversation by positing a question regarding our company intranet. Once answered, I then proceeded to emphatically, as much as I could in a relatively quiet voice, detail how much pizzazz the intranet emanated. The result? A chuckle, a grin, and feeling sufficiently awkward after. But I did it. Ergo, my delivery of the word, or rather the tone/enunciation, was far from pedestrian. If you read the post, you'll understand why he used the word pedestrian here. He continues, I even used my hands in a sideway jazz hands display so as to emphasize the excitement that inevitably comes from a word with 4 Z's. What do I win? He asks. And I've since talked to him. I saw him a couple weeks ago, and I was in his hometown in Philadelphia. And I told him that the prize is this. I mentioned you, John, on my podcast, so you're welcome. Thanks for doing the Pizzazz Challenge, bro. That was very good. I'm very impressed. I have to admit, I have not used it in conversation since I issued the challenge to others, but those who challenge don't always have to do, okay? If you want to take on the Pizzazz Challenge, tell me how it went. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe. So, I wanted to talk tonight about parenting because this is an important issue for those of you who are parents. If you're not a parent, don't worry. This might still be useful at some point in your life, okay? Not if you're never a parent, it still might come in handy to know this or to help you in conversation when you're talking to people with kids. You can bring this up as a trick, okay? You become a magician when you're a parent. When they're born, you have to start performing tricks once they get to a certain age. And really, it's the very first minutes that they're alive. You're pulling things out of your hat. You're making things disappear. You're making things reappear. You're doing all kinds of phenomenal magic when you're a parent. And so one of the magical things that happens as a parent is you start doing things that you never thought of before. You never thought you would say. Things come out of your mouth that you never thought were possible to utter. You become someone that's different than you could have ever imagined. And it's really an amazing thing, and I call it magic. Being a parent is magic. And I'd play the Coldplay song Magic, but that's more of a romance song. But so the magic I want to talk about, because I want to start doing parenting advice on this show, because I've realized that I am full of tricks. I have become a master magician as a parent. Now, I'm still in the early stages, so I can't really brag about my, Yale grad, private equity firm child who's going to be able to support me in the next 2 years after paying off their $500,000 in student loans because I wasn't able to help them with college. And I'm hoping that I'm still in good graces enough that they love me enough to want to pay back for all this magic that I performed that pulled this great rabbit out of a hat that will help me and supplement my retirement. The trick that I want to talk about tonight is brushing teeth. So if your child is a newborn and doesn't have teeth yet, this won't help you. But once that first tooth comes in, I forget when that is. Is that like 6 months? Seems like it's in the 6 to 9 month, maybe the 4 to 9 month category or state is when that first tooth comes in. Oh wait, I have to do something on my audio here before it goes berserk on me. Oh boy. There we go. Oh, wow. That was like in my head. I was just about to pop. I was just about to have this explosion of noise. And I had timed it for 10 minutes from now. And I've already been talking 10 minutes. And it's like the clock in my head, the internal clock just went off. And it was literally 5 seconds that I just went, that is crazy. I love when my brain does, it's like the subconscious mind does these tricks. It's tricks. It's magic. So when you're trying to brush a child's tooth, they really like it the first year or two. They just do whatever you tell. You put the toothbrush in their mouth and you wiggle it around and they love it and they giggle and they think it's fun. But about the latter part of the first year, meaning the second year of their life, but after they're the age of 1, closing in on the age of 2. I don't like saying the months. When parents start saying, oh, my child's 17 months, it's like, no, they're a year and a half. You don't need to, you stop doing months at about the month 12, really. So, they turned a year 2 months ago instead of saying 14 months. Because 14 months, you have to do mental math in your head, and it's not worth it. So just to spare people, just say, yeah, they turned 1 a couple months ago. They turned 1 in the spring instead of saying 18 months old, 19 months old. It's not important, okay? So they're about year 1.5, and that time you brush their teeth and they clamp down on the toothbrush for the first time. And they love this. They think it's hilarious. And the more stubborn your child, the more like you they are, like me. And all my kids have that rebellious quality in them. They all just clamp down. Whoosh, and they laugh, and you're trying to wiggle the toothbrush, but you can't. You can't brush their teeth. And you're thinking, okay, what's going to happen now? They're never going to brush their teeth. They ate so much junk. And, the dentist bills, it's all selfish. Do I care about their teeth? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's my bill as well. Do I want to pay all this money for the kid's first root canal when they're 3 years old? No. You don't. You want to save those baby teeth without any work being done. So you've got to brush their teeth at least once a day. So at night, that's when we do it. We brush their teeth at night. And that first time they clamp down, man, it is so hard to do it. So here's my trick. If you've ever experienced that, and it starts at 1.5 years, it goes off and on, when they're in those bad moods, and there are books that have been written about kids and how they're one way for 6 months, and then they're good for 6 months, and then they go the complete opposite for 6 months, where they're just like evil, and then they go back to angels, and then they're devils, and then they go back and forth every 6 months, okay? And this goes on until they're about 6 or 7, and then they start to mellow out a little bit and get into the more, big kid zone. So here's where I'm going. I'm distracting myself now. There's so much to talk about. I have so much parenting magic to talk about, okay? So you're brushing their teeth, and then as they get older, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, they stop wanting to brush at all. They just fight you because you're realizing, they're fighting you from the start. They don't want you to change their diaper. They don't want you to put their clothes on. They don't want you to take their clothes off to change them. They don't want to get in the bathtub. Then they don't want to get out of the bathtub. They don't want to go downstairs. They don't want to go upstairs. They don't want to eat. They want to eat at the wrong times. They wake up in the middle of the night. They're just adversarial from the very start, from the moment of the first breath taken. They are adversarial. They're your adversaries. And then when it gets to the toothbrush, and that's all I'm going to focus on tonight, is the toothbrushing. And I'm going to give you the trick. I just have one more thing to say, okay? That when they're 3, when they're 4, when they're 5, when they're 6, here is the trick. It doesn't matter where they are in that span from about a year and a half until you stop brushing their teeth, when they can finally figure it out when they're around 5 years old. Here's the trick. It's one word. This word works when they're 1. It works when they're 2. It works when they're 5. It works when they're a little older and they don't want to brush their teeth on their own. You use this one word, and you can use it in a few different ways. You don't just have to say that one word, but you say this word in a sentence. You say it alone, just as an isolated word, and it will get them to brush their teeth every time. When their teeth, I realize I'm going infomercial here by not revealing what the word is, but stick with me. My infomercial episode was a couple weeks ago, and I didn't use background music for the info. Why did I not use background music like a real infomercial? So much to learn. I might do another infomercial coming in the future. So when they're clamped down on the toothbrush, you say this word, they're going to unlock their jaw and allow you to brush right away. When they're a little older and they just don't want to brush their teeth at all, and they fight you, they smile and they laugh. You can't get the toothbrush in, Dad. Here's my teeth blocking the way. My lips are locked. They'll kind of clench their lips so you can't get the toothbrush in. They do all these tricks. They know so many. They are so smart. But here's how you show that you are smarter, that you are in control. You use the word. It's 3 syllables. Oh, wait, it's 4. 4 syllables. Bacteria. Bacteria. That's the word you say. You say bacteria. That's it. Try it. Tell me how it goes for you. Next time your young child or your grandchild or whoever it is, okay, well, be weird if you were brushing your nephew's or niece's teeth. Although there's babysitters, so if you're a nanny, if you're babysitting, you don't have kids, but you watch someone else's, try this. Use the word bacteria. You can try just saying bacteria and look at them. See what happens. I bet you they will start allowing you to brush their teeth. If they're not letting you and you say, uh-oh, I can see the bacteria. That's my line. They will allow you to start brushing their teeth. If you say, oh, there's a lot of bacteria here, they will just try different variations using bacteria in a sentence or isolated, and they will let you brush their teeth, and you will avoid the dental bills. You will show who's boss. You will be in control because you are a magician and you can do this. So that's my parenting tip of the day. Have a great one. Try it out. You can do it. You're the best.
Thank you for listening to the Josh Podcast Show, the anti-podcast podcast on God and man. For more information, visit joshpodcast.com. Follow Josh on Twitter at Josh Rolfe. That's Rolfe, R-O-L-P as in podcast, H. Now go and have the best day and night ever. And have fun.